They said he destroyed her father. He said she owed him everything. When the court documents cleared, when the debt transferred, when her name landed on his desk, he didn't send money. He sent a contract. Work for me or lose everything. She hated him. He owned her future. And the most dangerous part? He wanted her close. My name is Alara Voss. For most of my life, there was only one man I blamed for everything that went wrong. Adrian Blackwood. Billionaire, corporate predator, the man whose empire swallowed my family whole and left us bankrupt, disgraced, broken. I swore I'd never stand in the same room as him. But power doesn't care about promises. This is the story of how my worst enemy became the man who controlled my days, my nights, and eventually, my heart. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. Plain envelope, no logo, no threats, just my name typed across the front. Inside was a court notice. My stomach dropped. Assets frozen, remaining debt transferred, legal guardianship dissolved. At the bottom, Blackwood International Holdings. I laughed, a sharp, hysterical sound. Of course it was him. Adrian Blackwood had finally finished the job. I was standing in my tiny apartment, peeling paint, secondhand furniture, when my phone rang. Suspicious, unknown number. I answered. "Good morning, Miss Voss. Mr. Blackwood would like to see you." I didn't ask why. I already knew. I told myself I'd walk in, say my piece, and walk out. I didn't know then that the moment I stepped into his building, I stopped being free. Blackwood Tower rose over the city like a blade. Glass, steel, silence. Everything screamed control. The elevator ride to the top floor felt like a slow execution. When the doors opened, I saw him. Adrian Blackwood didn't stand when I entered, didn't smile, didn't pretend. Dark suit, cold eyes, hands folded like he was already bored. "Alara Voss, you're late." "I'm not your employee," I snapped. One eyebrow lifted, barely. "You are now." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside was my life, my father's medical bills, our remaining debts, the house I was about to lose. "You'll work for me, executive assistant, special projects. I'd rather starve. You already are." Silence slammed between us. Then he leaned back and said the words that changed everything. "Sign the contract, or I foreclose on what's left of your family." Tell me, what would you have done? My hand shook as I held the pen. Adrian watched me like a chess player watches a losing opponent. "You hate me," I said. "Yes." The honesty startled me. "You think I destroyed your father. I know you did." Then he stood, slowly, and for the first time, I felt it. Not attraction, pressure. He stopped in front of me, towering, voice low. "I didn't destroy him. I bought what he was already bleeding out." I signed. The moment the ink dried, his voice dropped. "Good. You start tomorrow." As I turned to leave, he added, "And Alara." I looked back. "You don't get to quit." That night, I didn't sleep, because I realized something far more terrifying than debt. Adrian Blackwood didn't just want obedience. He wanted proximity. And enemies are most dangerous when they decide to keep you close. I signed the contract at 9:42 p.m. By 9:43, I belonged to Adrian Blackwood. Not legally, not emotionally, but practically, completely. And the next morning, I walked straight into the lion's den. Blackwood Tower at 8 in the morning was quieter than I expected. No chaos, no shouting, no rushing employees, just efficiency. People moved with purpose, spoke softly, avoided mistakes, avoided him. I could feel it in the air. This building didn't run on schedules. It ran on fear dressed as professionalism. The receptionist greeted me by name. That alone sent a chill down my spine. "Mr. Blackwood is expecting you," she said. Of course he was. I hadn't even taken 5 steps into his office when his voice cut through the room. "Close the door." I turned. He didn't look up from his tablet. I closed it anyway. "You're late," he said. "It's 8 sharp. You arrived at 7:59. That's late." I clenched my jaw. "Then why not say 7:50? "Because I wanted to see if you'd anticipate my expectations." He finally looked at me then, cold, assessing, unmoved. "You failed." That's when I understood. This wasn't about work. It was about breaking me. My desk was outside his office, glass walls, exposed, no privacy. Every executive walking by could see me, hear me, judge me. Adrian called me in exactly 3 times that morning. Each time he corrected something I hadn't done wrong. Each time in front of someone important. "Ilara, your report lacks foresight. Ilara, anticipate my needs. Ilara, don't make me repeat myself." By noon, my hands were shaking. But when the office cleared out for lunch, he spoke differently. "Sit." I didn't move. "Sit," he repeated, softly this time. I did. He stood in front of me, close enough that I could smell his cologne. Dark, restrained, expensive. "You're angry," he said. "You ruined my family," I snapped. "No, I inherited the mess your father created." I stood. "You're lying." His eyes darkened, not with rage, but interest. "Good. I prefer you like this." "Like what?" "Unbroken." He wanted resistance, and that scared me more than obedience ever could. That afternoon, my card declined at the cafe downstairs. I hadn't told him. I hadn't said a word. But when I returned to my desk, there was an envelope waiting. Inside was a Blackwood credit card. No limit. No explanation. Just a note in his handwriting. "You don't starve on my payroll." I marched into his office. "I didn't ask for this." "You didn't have to. You're buying control." "I already have it. This is insurance." "For what?" "For your loyalty." "I don't belong to you." He stepped closer. "You signed a contract, and contracts don't care how you feel." Then, softer. "Neither do I." It happened after hours. I was leaving when I heard shouting, raised voices, anger, not his. I hesitated. Then I saw Adrian in the hallway, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up, jaw tight. A board member stormed past me furious. "He's dangerous," the man snapped under his breath. Adrian watched him go, unmoving. For the first time, he looked tired. Not weak, just alone. Our eyes met.
Something unspoken passed between us. He straightened instantly. "Tomorrow you'll stay late." "For what?" "For dinner." My heart dropped. "That's not part of the contract." His gaze held mine. "No, that's personal." I went home that night knowing one thing. Adrian Blackwood wasn't just my enemy. He was watching me, testing me. And tomorrow, He would cross a line neither of us could uncross. Would you go to dinner with your enemy, meaning refusing meant losing everything? I told myself it was just dinner, a business obligation, a power move. But no one looks at their enemy's mouth the way I did that night, and no one invites their assistant to dinner unless they're already losing control. The restaurant wasn't public. That should have warned me. Blackwood Tower had its own private dining floor. No menus, no reservations, no witnesses. The table was set for two. Candles, crystal glasses, silence. Adrian removed his jacket slowly, deliberately. "You can leave," he said. "You just said, if you feel threatened, leave now. I won't stop you." I searched his face for manipulation, found none. I stayed. The food arrived without words. He didn't look at his phone, didn't rush. He watched me eat. "You don't trust me," he said. "You destroyed my family." I destroyed an illusion and paid the price for it. For what? For becoming the villain in your story. The honesty knocked the air out of my lungs. Villains aren't supposed to sound tired. He slid a tablet across the table. Financial records, hidden accounts, illegal transfers. My father's signature was everywhere. He stole from investors, from employees, from you. Defensively, I shook my head. "You're lying." I protected him longer than anyone knows. My throat burned, virginally. Why? Because he begged, and because I once believed mercy mattered. Trembling, my hands trembled. Bitterly, "You still destroyed him." Gently, "No, I let him fall." Heavy pause. Silence swallowed us. Whispered, "I hated you." Calm, "I know." Realization, "And you let me." Honest, "I needed you strong enough to survive the truth." That was the moment something inside me cracked. Tense, I stood abruptly, needing air. Calm, he didn't stop me. Emotional, I reached the window, city lights spilling beneath my feet, and finally broke. Vulnerable, I had nothing. You took everything I thought I was standing on. Soft, behind me, his voice softened. Gentle, "I gave you something else." Confused, I turned. "What?" Firm, "Independence and a spine your father never had." Anger flared. Then his hand brushed mine. Soft, not gripping, not claiming, just there. Breathless, the room went still. Quiet, sincere. "I won't touch you again unless you ask." Pounding, my heart thundered. Vulnerable, I didn't move away. Tense, the moment shattered when his phone rang. Cold, he answered. Observed, listened. Dark, his expression hardened. Sharp, "Repeat that?" Heavy pause. Silence. Then cold fury.
"She's under my protection, and anyone who goes near her will answer to me." He hung up. "What was that?" I asked. He looked at me differently now. Not like an enemy, like a liability he refused to lose. "Someone made inquiries about you outside my company." Fear crawled up my spine. And I shut it down. His eyes locked onto mine. "No one touches what's mine." "I'm not mine?" he interrupted quietly. He stepped closer. "Then why are you still here?" I had no answer. That night I realized something terrifying.
Adrian Blackwood wasn't falling for me. He was deciding what to do with me. And when men like him decide, they don't let go. Is his protection genuine or another form of control? The most dangerous thing about Adrian Blackwood wasn't his money. It wasn't his power. It was the fact that once he decided something belonged to him, he didn't hesitate. And that night, he decided I was worth destroying the world for. It happened 3 days later. I was leaving work late. Again, the lobby was nearly empty. Too empty. I felt it before I saw it. The silence, the footsteps behind me. I turned, and everything went black. I woke up to cold concrete. My head throbbed. A warehouse, dim lights, the smell of oil and rust. Someone had tied my hands. Panic rose, fast, sharp. Then a voice cut through the dark. Blackwood thinks he owns everything. A man stepped into the light, one of his rivals. I'm here to collect interest. They didn't know what they'd just started. Adrian found me in under 40 minutes. I know because later they told me what happened. Security footage showed him entering the warehouse, alone. No guards, no weapons, just rage wrapped in a tailored coat. The men laughed until he spoke. You took something that doesn't belong to you.
They threatened me. He didn't blink. They touched me, and that was the last mistake they ever made. I didn't see the violence, but I heard it. The control snapping, the precision, the silence afterwards. When he untied my hands, his fingers were shaking. "Look at me," he said. I did, and for the first time, the cold billionaire was afraid. He took me home, not my apartment, his, wrapped me in blankets, sat on the floor beside me, wouldn't touch me, wouldn't look away. "I never wanted this," he said quietly. "What?" "To need you." My voice broke. "You don't get to control me because you're scared." "I know." He looked up then, eyes raw, unmasked. "I tried to keep you at a distance because people close to me get hurt. And yet you pulled me closer?" "Yes." "Why?" His voice dropped. "Because when you look at me, you don't see a god." I swallowed. "What do I see?" "A man who could lose everything." Silence. Then, "I don't own you. I never did." My heart ached. "But if you walk away, I won't stop you." I stood. Every instinct screamed run, but I saw the truth now. He wasn't holding me. He was offering me the door. So I crossed the room, took his face in my hands. "You don't get to decide alone anymore." His breath shook. "I choose you, not your power, not your protection, just you." For the first time, Adrian Blackwood kissed me like a man asking, not claiming. 6 months later, Blackwood International changed. Transparency, accountability. Adrian still ruled, but differently. And me? I wasn't his assistant. I wasn't his prisoner. I was his equal. People ask how it feels to love a man like him. The truth? Cold men love hardest, because when they finally fall, they fall forever.
So tell me, would you have walked away or stayed and melted the man who never thought he could love? Comment below. Subscribe for the next dark romance story, because power, obsession, and love always come with consequences.